Imagine for a moment that you are special. Not in the way a hero is special, but in the way a plague carrier is special. You have a gift, a spark in your soul that lets you see things others cannot, move objects with your mind, or hear the whispers of the future. In any other universe, you might be a wizard, a superhero, or a god. But here, in the decaying sprung of the Imperium of man, you are a ticking time bomb. You are a glitch in reality, waiting to tear open. And then, one day, the sky turns dark, not from storm clouds, but from ships, massive, silent behemoths of black iron that hang in low orbit like vultures waiting for a carcass. You know what they are. Every child born on an imperial world knows the nursery rhymes. They are the black ships, and they have not come for resources or to defend your world from aliens. They have come for you. The tithe has begun. There is no hiding. The knock on the door does not ask for permission, it demands compliance. Your family will weep, not because you are dying, but because your fate is arguably worse. You are being taken by the Adeptus Astra Telepathica. You are being harvested. This is the reality of the League of Black Ships, the silent fleet that keeps the Imperium alive by feeding its brightest souls into a furnace of golden light. Most citizens of the Imperium will live and die without ever seeing a space marine. They may never witness a Tyranid invasion, but the black ships, they are a universal constant. They are the tax collector of souls. Today, we are going to step inside these floating dungeons. We will walk the silent corridors where magic dies and uncover the horrifying truth of the Golden Throne's daily bread. Welcome to the harvest. To understand the horror of the black ships, you must first understand the crime of those they imprison. In Warhammer 40K, being a Psyker is not a blessing, it is a biological vulnerability. Your mind is a glowing beacon in the warp, shining brightly in a sea of predatory darkness. When you use your powers, or even when you dream, you are effectively opening a door. And on the other side of that door, demons are scratching, waiting to pour through into the material world. The Imperium's hatred of the witch is not born of mere superstition, though there is plenty of that, but of survival. A single, untrained Psyker losing control for a fraction of a second can turn an entire city into a chaotic hellscape. They can become a portal for a demonic incursion that consumes a planet. Therefore, the logic of the Imperium is cold and binary. Control the gift or destroy the vessel. There is no middle ground. This is why the Great Tithe exists. It is an ancient law enforced with brutal efficiency. Every planetary governor is responsible for rounding up the witches on their world. They must imprison them, segregate them, and hold them until the black ships arrive to collect the cargo. It doesn't matter if you are a noble son or a hive scum orphan. The gene curse discriminates against no one. Consider the psychological terror of growing up with this secret. You spend your life terrified of your own thoughts. You suppress your abilities, praying they go unnoticed. But the Imperium has ways of finding you. The irony is tragic. The very potential that makes you dangerous is also the only resource that can keep humanity traveling through the stars. The Imperium hates you, yet it desperately needs to consume you. When the black ships dock, the handover is a spectacle of despair. The local enforcers, or Arbites, drag the collected Psykers out of their holding cells, often in chains, drugged into a stupor, or fitted with inhibitor collars that cause excruciating pain if they attempt to focus their minds. But the local law enforcement are not the ones you need to fear. They are just the delivery boys. The true masters of your fate are the ones waiting on the ramp. The crews of the black ships are a motley collection of the Imperium's most hardened souls. You have the stormtroopers of the inquisitorial retinues, heavy-booted and faceless. You have the tech priests, ensuring the containment fields hold. But standing apart from them, in armor of burnished gold or somber iron, are the Sisters of Silence. And this is where the true nightmare begins for a Psyker. To a normal human, a Sister of Silence is an intimidating warrior. To a Psyker, she is a walking void. These women are blanks or pariahs, beings born without a soul. Their very presence cancels out the warp. When a sister walks near you, your connection to the ether is severed violently. It feels like being blinded and deafened simultaneously. It induces a primal, nauseating sickness that goes deeper than the physical body. It is the feeling of your very essence being smothered. They do not scream orders. They do not beat you with truncheons unless necessary. They simply exist, and their existence is your torture. You are herded onto the shuttle, stumbling, retching from the null aura radiating from your jailers. You look back at your homeworld one last time, perhaps seeing your family watching from a distance, relieved to be rid of the danger you represent. You are no longer a citizen, you are cargo. The transition from the planet to the ship is the moment hope officially dies. As the shuttle ascends, leaving the atmosphere, you are moving from a world where you were a monster into a world where you are nothing but fuel. The heavy blast doors of the black ship grind open, revealing a cavernous, dimly lit hole that smells of ozone, fear, and ancient incense. You have entered the belly of the beast. Once the blast doors seal, your world shrinks to a cell of cold metal and darkness. The black ships are not designed for comfort. They are designed for containment. The interior is a labyrinth of Gothic industrialism. Long, oppressive corridors lined with cells that stretch for miles. The air is recycled, tasting of copper and stale sweat, heavy with the psychic residue of thousands of terrified souls. You are stripped of your identity. You are given a number, a rough tunic, and a cell that is often barely large enough to stand in. But the physical confinement is the least of your worries. The true horror is the silence of your own mind. The cells are lined with hexagrammic wards and strange dampening technologies that suppress your connection to the warp. For a Psyker, this is not relief, it is suffocation. It feels like a limb has been amputated. You reach out with your mind instinctively and find nothing, just a gray, static wall. The conditions are intentionally dehumanizing. You are fed nutrient paste just enough to keep you alive, but not enough to give you strength. Sleep is difficult. Even with the dampeners, the sheer proximity of so many other witches creates a psychic pressure in the air. You can hear the weeping of those in neighboring cells. Some scream in their sleep. Others mutter endless prayers to the Emperor, hoping for forgiveness that will never come. Isolation is the primary weapon here. You are kept in the dark, literally and metaphorically. You do not know how long the journey will take. You do not know if you are heading to Terra or if you will simply disappear. The only thing you know is that you are surrounded by others like you, deviants, mutants, accidental monsters, and watching over you all, patrolling the gantries with silent predatory grace, are the ones who make your blood run cold. We must pause here to truly decode the nature of your wardens. The Sisters of Silence, the Anathema Psychana, are not merely soldiers. They are the ultimate counter-argument to your existence. To understand the horror of a black ship, you must understand the biological interaction between a Psyker and a blank. When a Psyker looks at a normal human, they see a soul, a bright spark in the warp. When they look at a Sister of Silence, they see a hole in reality. It is an abyss where a person should be. Being near them triggers a primal, uncanny valley response, but magnified 1,000 times. It induces nausea, migraines, and a profound sense of existential dread. You don't just fear them, your very soul recoils from them as if they are antimatter to your matter. But consider the reverse perspective, for this is where the Grimdark philosophy truly deepens. How does the Sister see you? To these null maidens, a Psyker is not a victim. You are a walking infection. When they look at you, they do not see a frightened human. They see a creature leaking corrupt radiation. They see you the way a doctor sees a gangrenous limb, something rotting, dangerous, and in need of removal. This mutual revulsion creates a dynamic unlike any other prison. There is no banter, there is no negotiation. The Sisters have taken a vow of silence, communicating only in thought mark, a complex battle sign language. They move through the ship like ghosts, their golden armor glinting in the low light. If a prisoner acts out, if a Psyker tries to manifest their power, the retribution is swift and often fatal. They do not hate you with passion. They despise you with cold biological certainty. You are the dirt, and they are the bleach. We are venturing deeper into the nightmare of the Imperium's infrastructure. If you appreciate this deep dive into the lore of the Black Ships and want to support the channel's decoding of the 40K universe, please consider subscribing. It helps us keep the Astronomicon lit. Now, let's return to the Dark Hold.
The Black Ships do not just sit in orbit. They must travel. And to travel across the galaxy, they must do the one thing that is most dangerous for their cargo. They must enter the warp. This is the ultimate irony of the Tithe. To bring the witches to Terra, to be sanctioned or sacrificed, the Imperium must drag them through the very realm of daemons that they are most susceptible to. When the Geller fields activate and the ship tears a hole into the immaterium, the atmosphere in the hold shifts. Even with the wards and the Sisters of Silence dampening the psychic energy, the pressure builds. The warp is outside the hull, separated by only a few meters of adamantium and energy fields. For the latent Psykers in the hold, this is agony. It is like being submerged in deep water while holding your breath, but the water is made of pure hatred. The journey can take months, sometimes years, due to the vagaries of warp travel. Time in the immaterium is non-linear. In the cells, madness begins to take root. Weaker minds fracture under the strain. Suicide attempts are common, though difficult to achieve in the bare cells. The Sisters are vigilant, not out of mercy, but because every soul is a unit of currency owed to the throne. They cannot allow the merchandise to damage itself. And then there are the whispers. Even the strongest wards cannot block out everything. When the ship hits a warp storm, the nightmares bleed into reality. Shadows seem to lengthen, the temperature drops. Psykers might start speaking in tongues, their minds resonating with the demonic entities scratching at the hull. This is when the Sisters of Silence are most active, patrolling the corridors, their mere presence acting as a spiritual firebreak, snuffing out the sparks before they can become an inferno. You are trapped in a metal box, flying through hell, surrounded by people who are slowly going insane, guarded by soulless warriors who view you as a disease. This is the voyage, and if you survive it, if you don't die of shock, starvation, or madness, you eventually feel the ship shudder, the Geller fields disengage, real space returns. You have arrived at the throne world. You have arrived at Terra. But as the doors open, you realize that the journey was the easy part.
The journey ends not at a palace, but at a fortress. The black ships descend through the toxic clouds of holy Terra, bypassing the gleaming spires of the ecclesiarchy, and dock at the darker, more secretive peaks of the Himalayas. This is the Adeptus Astra Telepathica, often called the Hollow Mountain. It is an anthill of administrative cruelty, a facility carved deep into the bedrock of the throne world, designed for one purpose: processing human raw material. Here, you are unloaded. The air of Terra is heavy, almost crushing, burdened by the psychic weight of the Emperor himself. You are stripped, scanned, and subjected to the sorting. This is the moment that decides your utility. The masters of the Telepathica look at you not as a person, but as a grade of ore. They are searching for strength of will. Can your mind withstand the horrors of the warp without cracking? If you are found to be exceptionally strong, stable, disciplined, and potent, you are the lucky fraction of 1%. You might be selected to become a sanctioned Psyker, a battle wizard for the Imperial Guard, or perhaps, if you are truly exceptional, an Inquisitor. You will be trained, branded, and leashed, allowed to live as a weapon of the state. If you are strong but perhaps less stable, or your power is of a specific frequency, you may be chosen for the soul binding. You will be brought before the Emperor for a fraction of a second. The sheer intensity of his psychic presence will scour your mind, often burning out your eyes and destroying your sensory nerves. You will become an astropath, a living biological radio, blind and broken, but capable of sending messages across the stars. It is a life of agony, but it is a life. But for the vast majority, the weak, the uncontrolled, the too dangerous, or simply the surplus, there is no training, there is no soul binding. You are graded as fuel. You are herded into the deep forgotten sublevels of the mountain. You are being prepared for the ultimate duty.
This is the secret that keeps the Imperium turning. We often hear 1,000 souls a day, but in the darkening millennium, the number is likely far higher. But numbers are abstract. Let us describe the reality. You are marched into a vast, cavernous chamber that hums with a deafening, golden energy. The air smells of ozone and burning circuitry. In the distance, you see it, the Golden Throne, a machine of impossible complexity, a mountain of gold and wires and Gothic machinery, and at its center, the withered, skeletal corpse of the master of mankind. You are strapped into a sarcophagus-like pod, connected by thick cables to the central machine. You are not killed immediately. That would be a mercy. Instead, the machine engages. It begins to siphon. Imagine a needle inserted not into your vein, but into your very essence. The Golden Throne is a psychic vampire of godlike proportions. It requires an immense amount of energy to keep the webway portal closed and the Astronomicon beacon lit. And that energy comes from you. At first, it feels like a draining fatigue. Then the terror sets in as you realize your memories are fading. Your personality is being eroded. The fire of your soul is being sucked out to fuel the lighthouse of the galaxy. It is a slow, agonizing withering. You can feel yourself becoming a husk. You want to scream, and you do, psychically. The choir of the Astronomicon is a choir of screams. This process can take days or weeks, depending on your strength. You are kept alive just enough to be harvested completely. You are turned into a battery, burned until there is nothing left but a shriveled gray corpse. When the machine is done with you, your pod is flushed, your lifeless body discarded into the incinerators to make room for the next battery. You have saved humanity for another fraction of a second.
It is easy to look at the black ships and the golden throne and see only evil. It is easy to call the Imperium a monstrous regime built on murder. And you would be right. It is monstrous. It is murder on an industrial scale. But step back and look at the alternative. Without the black ships, untrained Psykers would tear reality apart, turning every planet into a demon world. Without the sacrifice of the souls on the Golden Throne, the Astronomicon goes dark. Warp travel becomes impossible. The Imperium fractures. Humanity, isolated and blind, would be devoured by Tyranids, orcs, and chaos within a generation. This is the grim equation of Warhammer 40K. To survive, humanity must become a monster. The black ships are not a mistake. They are a survival mechanism. Every time a ship navigates the warp safely, it is because a Psyker screamed in agony in a pod on Terra. Every time a world is saved from demons, it is because a black ship dragged a weeping child from their home years prior. So, the next time you look at the glory of the Imperium, remember the silent fleets in the dark. Remember the cost. The Emperor protects, but he must be fed.